Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Build Your Best Life with Deborah D. Smith. My platform is designed to assist high school age and young adult males as they follow my basic principles to overcome obstacles from their personal lives and society and to build their best lives. I believe it is better to train early rather than to fix later. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I am delighted today. Today is the day that I have a young man to come on so that we can find out what their perspective is about life and what goes on in their lives. So I'm so pleased to have Mr. Courtney Bell on today.
Hello, hello.
And Courtney Bell is a first-year encore vocalist who also sings in the a cappella choir. He is a member of the JHHS speech and debate team. Courtney is an artist and has been since first grade. Drawing comes to him naturally. He likes to express himself through drawing, writing, acting, poetry, and rap. Courtney is currently a member of the gospel group OCs, that's Original Gangsters, where he can express his love for Christ and utilize his talents. Overall, Courtney has a strong desire toward courage and uplifting others to see themselves as Christ sees them. So I am super excited to have him on today. So welcome, Courtney.
Yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. The gospel group is not really Original Gangsters. It's Original Christians. It's OCs instead of OGs.
Oh, okay. So, sorry about that. Probably had that on my
mind. I know, because y'all had it back in your mind. But yeah, it is.
Well, Courtney, you have so much going on. I was just super excited once I read your bio. So can you just tell us a little bit more about your passions and your drive, because it is just amazing.
Well, I think the bio said it all, but I do like writing, and I'm starting to get interested in like essays, right? A lot of the times I find myself being more complete in my thoughts when I write it out. Sometimes when people ask me a question, it's kind of hard for me to tell them what I'm fully trying to say, because sometimes when I'm in the moment, a lot of things I think too fast, and then it's hard for me to put all that I'm thinking into one sentence so you can fully understand what I'm trying to say. But in writing, it's perfect for you. You don't have to just stop and think. You're just writing. And so I'm starting to find passion in writing. I need to work on my grammar a little bit, all that stuff, but I think I'll do great in that. I also like winning souls for Christ. I like doing the same thing that you do, actually, listening to other people, seeing where other people come from, seeing their views and perspectives on certain things in life. You know, I talk to Democrats, Republicans, gay people, Muslims. I talk to all kinds of people, because I just really want to see where people's minds are at. So yeah, those are the two other things that I like to do.
Well, that's just amazing. Hi, Jocelyn and Naomi. Thank y'all for tuning in today. Please share so we can get some more people on here, because I know y'all are excited to hear what Courtney has to say, because I am. So Courtney, we're going to get down to it. What are some of the things that make your generation, and I say it's Generation Z, stand out and make it better for others, make it better than the others that came before?
I believe our awareness of certain things is what makes our generation better than other generations. Now, not saying that previous generations weren't aware of like racism or systematic racism, mass incarceration, all that type of stuff. But I will say that my generation, how can I say, is a little bit more not passionate, but more active. Like, you remember when George Floyd got shot, you know, a lot of my generation, you know, was all kinds of people, white people, Hispanic people, all types of people. And we were like like, man, this is wrong. You know, we need to fight for change. So I think that is one of the biggest things that, you know, I can tip my head off towards my generation, because we are really passionate and we are really aware, you know, of certain things that are going on. But there's always a downside to everything. But yeah.
Oh, that's good. I mean, you know, it's good to be aware, because sometimes people do things and they don't know why they're doing it, but it's good.
Yeah.
Like you say, you talk to different people, you get to know different people, where they are, why they do, or understand what they understand, so you can, you know, have a better communication or collaboration with them. So that's, you know,
Right.
that's good.
It's
Great.
indeed.
All right. Well, what are some of the obstacles that your generation faces, and do you think that they are different from the obstacles that previous generations had?
I'm split 50-50 on that question, because we as human beings, we all have certain struggles that we deal with, right? I think we can all relate that. I think we can relate to us, you know, we all go through pain, we all cry, we all have emotions, right? So I think that's the one thing that's going to stay the same, because we're all human, no matter what age you are. But the one downfall that I would say that wasn't in previous generations, it would be, it's a hard question. Our self-identity, right? I believe we all think we know who we are, but a lot of times we don't. Because we're so consumed by what we see on here, right, on our phone and on TV and people, right? And we tend to lose track of who we really are, you know, even with some Christian friends that I know. A lot of my Christian friends, you know, they've been consumed into American Christianity, right? When all you got to do is just read the Bible to know who you are. You don't need to go all over the place to know who you are. You know, the Bible is clear on it.
Right.
So I think it's our identity. And me personally, I know who I am, but I'm still growing each and every day to be who God has called me to be. But I know who I am as a man in Christ, a young man in Christ. But what I see in my generation is we're too busy letting, you know, society and people, you know, make us who we are. You know, I talk to a lot of people, and me just being a child in elementary, I remember it. You know, people would just judge you by how you dress, right? Oh, this boy, he ain't got no Jordans, he don't got no Nikes, he not cool, right? And I'm like, what? You judging me based off what I wear? You see what I mean? If you talk to me, I can guarantee you that I will encourage you. I will be a good friend, right? But you too busy about what I wear.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So it's all about our identity. And I think that's one of our downfalls. And another thing is going back to technology, you know, it's separating us. And this is even with adults, with politics, you know, oh, you're a Republican, you're racist, you know, those are a lot of assumptions. Or you voted for this person, you voted for that person, you know, it's so much division, even with adults, right? But I say this with my generation is because if you go on Instagram, you look at what my generation posts, it's way worse. It's worse. It's way worse than what you see adults do. Now, sometimes it's the opposite, but in this case, it really is worse on our end because we are extremely divided.
That's good. Well, now, you know, like you have a lot of people when you talk about politics, like that's not a subject that I get into a lot, but when you talk about politics, you know, some people, they just jump on a side and then they're just ranting and raving and doing things and they haven't a clue what's going on. But
Right.
it appears that your generation, you specifically, you're doing the research, you know what you're talking about. So you have, to me, that right to take a side and speak
Right.
up because you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Me personally, like I lean towards the left, right? More democratic views. And here's the thing, when I say about the division, right? I know some Christian friends, right, who are they're extremely Republican, right? And if you do your research with the white evangelical church, they tend to they do support, Republicans, right? And I tell my Christian friend, right? I say, I lean towards these views, right? Because I believe in, helping the poor, I believe everybody deserves health care, I believe people deserve some money if they're in debt, because of student loans and all that type of stuff. Those are things that I believe in, right? I don't think it's wrong to increase the taxes for rich people because they're already rich, right?
Right.
So I believe in those certain things. And just because I believe in those certain things, that doesn't mean that I'm not a Christian. You see what I mean? Because a lot of Christians, they'll say, "Oh, you voted for a Democrat, you support abortion, you support this, you support that. You're not a real Christian, right?" Because they tend to focus on two things. They tend to focus on homosexuality and abortion, and they bring those two things together, and they make those two reasons the reasons why you should vote Republican, right?
Right.
And when of course, God cares about those things, but God also cares about the poor all throughout the Bible. Jesus talked about it a lot. Caring for the widows. Those are all things God cares about. So when you say, "Oh, this is the right side," or "That's the wrong side," you're just causing division, because God cares about them both equally.
That is so.
That's what I'm talking about, the division. You see what I mean?
Yes. Excellent, Courtney. Excellent. And that's what I'm talking about. Being, young men knowing what they're talking about, knowing what they're about. And I so love it when you were talking and you said, "I know who I am." And when I'm talking, like in sessions or starting out with different series that I'll do, one of the things I really stress is be yourself. Don't try to follow somebody else, because you never know who's watching you while you're trying to watch somebody else and be like them. Somebody's watching you. And like you said, it doesn't matter. I always speak that, everybody needs to be, your appearance needs to be nice, but that does not mean brand names. That means you're clean, you're not smelly, and your clothes are pressed. I wouldn't care if they Walmart brand, Memory Mark brand, what brand they are, as long as you're not smelly and you are, fresh and clean. Hey,
Exactly.
nice.
Exactly, and that's what I agree with, because there's nothing wrong. Like I like name brand clothes and all that type of stuff, but now I'm starting to see how much my generation glorifies that stuff, and because of social media, we aspire to be like celebrities. We think that life is all about getting money, right? And of course, we need money. Money is a weapon, but the love of money is the root of all evil, right? And all these people, they tend to gravitate towards those things because they think those are the things that they need, or that's what's going to make them happy or fully happy. Now, it can bring temporary happiness, but not eternal happiness, because only God can do that. Only Jesus, right?
Amen.
But we tend to glorify those things because it's in our music. I'll be honest, it's in our music. Money, sex, all that type of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with sex. God created it for marriage between a man and a woman. It's just outside of that, it's not good. You sin against your own body, as it says in the Bible. So to go back to what you were saying about like just dressing right, just looking presentable, right?
All right.
That stuff doesn't really matter. Now, I'm not saying we should look crazy or anything like that, but somebody's worth, somebody's value shouldn't be found in what they wear. It's about what comes out of their mouth. And remind me of what Jesus said, it's not what goes in that defiles you, but it's about what comes out that defiles you. So, yeah.
Oh, awesome stuff. All right. Now, as I stated before, I was very, very impressed with your bio. Now, what motivated you along the path that you have chosen, the different, the writing, the acting, the music, being a Christian, all those things? What motivated you?
I think a lot of things motivated me. So I was raised in Christianity, but I didn't start believe. Well, no, I always believed, right? But I never really started getting serious until I started going through things, right? So I would guess the struggle was my motivation. And then also just I like music. You know, I was raised on Disney Channel, right? So I've always liked the music, acting. I've always gravitated towards those things as a child, you know, watching Disney Channel. I think that's really what sparked me to like acting and singing. And singing mainly because of my dad, right? My dad sings a lot. I was always listening to his music everywhere we go because he would play it all the time. I probably memorized all my dad's songs. So my dad is probably the biggest inspiration of why I like music. And then writing, that can I think writing came from my mom. I think she inspired me because she writes plays and all that type of stuff, oratory and all that. So she inspired me on that part. And yeah, that's about it.
Oh, that's good. Very good. Okay. So now I'm not to push you, but I know you were raised Christian, but you can't, so when you get, I guess, got to be a teenager, I know a lot of times your peers would try to push you the other way, but you continued on the path where they say train up a child. So you were trained up that way. You have continued along that path. But did you have any struggles or your friends, trying to push you the opposite direction?
Well, here's the crazy thing with me. In my experiences, I never really had people try to push me away. People understood what I believed in and they just adapted to that, right? But do I experience doubt? Of course, a lot, right? Not saying that I don't believe in God, but sometimes it comes. And I have to ask God for help as I do every single day because I need his help every single day.
Yeah.
Uh, just today, sometimes well, let me think about it. I don't think people really have pushed me to stop believing or try to get me off track. Um, I believe, movies, just society is what tries to bring me off track. In movies and stuff, you can always hear people make jokes about God, or you can always hear little atheist remarks, everywhere you go about telling you just, hey, stop believing in what you believe in. Or I'll be honest, because of mainstream society and media, a lot of Christians got bad reps, right? Now, we know the truth. There are some, Christians who don't do the right thing, just as everybody, because we're all human. But say the thing with homosexuality, right? You have a lot of Christians who talk about that thing, right? And some Christians talk about it in the correct way, and some people don't. Some people correct in love, and some people don't. So, what the bad side of it is, with those people who are representing Christ in the wrong way, that is what starts to make me waver because as I go everywhere, oh, you're a Christian, you're homophobic. That means you hate gays. That means you think that means you better than everybody else, or you're a judgmental person. Like, no, that's not who I am. What I believe is that I'm not perfect and Jesus died for me. You see what I mean? Jesus died because I'm not perfect.
All right.
So that's what I believe. So when people say all these bad things about, what I believe in, that is what kind of makes me waver a little bit. But I will forever, and I mean forever, I will always hold on to my faith. Will never waver.
That's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, I'm going to ask this question, and you may not know what I'm talking about because I don't know what I'm talking about because I kind of like walked in today in the middle of this discussion it was on Daily Blast. and I think they were talking about the Grammy and these ladies that danced. Did you
Yeah.
watch Grammy Sunday?
Did I watch it? I watched a little bit, but I God told me to seek Him, so I went to Him. I wanted to watch the whole thing, but I didn't. But
You know what I'm talking about? The scene.
yes, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, they were the whole discussion was, was it appropriate because the Grammy should have been like for families to watch, and was it right for them to be on? Was it wrong? So not to throw you out there, but if you don't mind, what was your opinion on it?
I believe that morality has went down 100%. And if people say it hasn't, then they're compromising, right? Because but I have to have empathy, because when I look at those two women, right, and a lot of female Black hip hop artists, right, because I say Black because that's what we see. Black culture is it's American culture. If we're being honest, Black culture is American culture. Right. We're the ones popping, right? I have to realize who the people who are running it, right? Because a lot of most of these people, sometimes they don't even want to do that stuff. It's just that's what sells, right? Mm-hmm. But then, yet again, they're bowing down to whatever the people are telling them to do because they need the money at the end of the day, right?
Right.
But then also that portrays a picture of how people view Black women. They think Black women are just loud, angry, aggressive, they're promiscuous. They always have their stuff out, all that type of stuff. So it creates so many stigmas about Black women and Black culture in general, which can be very damaging to us, right? And then, so I don't agree with what was displayed, but I do understand who's running it. You see what I mean? Right. And I also, but yet again, there's accountability. We need to hold each other accountable, right? Should little girls be listening to that? No, but then you have some people argue that it's your fault if you allow your children to listen to that. It is what it is. You're in control of what you let your children hear or watch. And which is true. But you realize we go to school, we see everything, right? So it's not even at that home. And then you have kids who listen to it, letting it all go into their eyes, into their mind. They think that's I got to be like that. I got to use my body in order for men to love me, or I got to use my body to have my way. You see what I mean? And that goes both ways. That women don't have, it's not just women who do that, it's men who do that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't agree with it. I believe there needs to be accountability because, that's not right. But then I also have empathy because I understand who's running it. So I just pray that they make it up in their minds, because I think they know what they're doing is wrong. It's just money,
Right. Great. I like your perspective on that. Very good. Have a comment out here from Dr. Davenport King. The Gen Zs are watching and learning from us. What message are we sending? We need to take notice. Amen. I agree, Dr. Davenport King. I agree. And your mom says, preach, Courtney. Very good. Yeah, but it was a lot of back and forth on that today. And like you said, some people were saying, well, you shouldn't let your kids watch or whatever. But, like you said, because these get you in trouble, because I know I have grandkids ranging from 23 to 6 months. The 8-year-old has a phone. So like you say, it's right there. So parents can't control everything. It's right there for them.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Now, before, when I was asking you, like, where did you get your passion about different things? You mentioned your mom and your dad. So this may be the same response. I'm not sure. But who is your top role model and why?
Well, I got 4 role models.
All right.
Martin Luther King, Billy Graham, my grandma, and Jesus.
All right.
I would say my grandma is one of my role models because she's very girded with the word, right? So
Mhm.
I so she inspires me to read the word more. And then Martin Luther King, he inspires me because just because of what he did. I think I don't even have to explain it. We already know what he did. Billy Graham. Now he's one of my inspirations. Well, he's became one of my inspirations recently because number one, he's white and he advocated for civil rights for black people in a time when, if a white person did that, they'll be like, oh, he's an N-word lover. You see what I mean?
Right.
Like it takes a lot of courage and bravery to stand up for what is right, even when your own race is like black people they don't deserve what we have. You see what I mean? And Billy Graham, he actually preached with Martin Luther King, so he's one of my inspirations because he demonstrated courage and bravery, right? And Jesus, he's one of my inspirations because he helps me like when I feel like I'm about to when I'm going through something just extremely bad, right? I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this word, God, or this happening to me, God. Oh, and I get angry, right? But then Jesus on the cross, that's what humbles me. I'm like, Lord, you died for me. You know, you could have just said, I'm not going to do it. I'm God in the flesh. Yeah, he's like, he could have just ended it all right there. But yet he chose to endure for us. So, yeah.
That's awesome testimony. Those are some wonderful role models, Courtney. And I can see some of the attributes from all those people have certainly rubbed off on you because you are, from the little while I've known you, you are a wonderful young man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So, what person, and this could be a singer, actor, politician, inventor, whatever, other than your role models, stand out in your mind and why?
Hmm. Hmm. This is interesting. Ah, okay. Ooh, got one. Actor. Chadwick Boseman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, as we know, during some of those movies he made, he was dealing with cancer, right? But
Right.
yet he still was acting. He still was enduring all that pain, in his body. But yet he still chose to act. He still chose to persevere. He could have went like he could have quit. He could have said like, "Man, I'm dealing with cancer. I'm out here waking up early every day in the morning trying to get on set. People getting on my nerves. The director's telling me to redo this line. I'm tired. My body hurts." But yet he still chose to persevere. So he's one of the actors that that I look up to for his perseverance.
Yeah, I think that was an awesome testimony of him because, it makes me think, and this has been one of my pet peeves, but somebody, oh, my head hurts. Oh, I got a tummy ache. I got to stay home today. I can't go to school, can't go to work, can't do this, can't do that. And here's someone, he had to be in incredible pain. He had to be weak from the chemotherapy and the treatments or whatever. And, he didn't tell anybody because he didn't want anybody feeling sorry for him, but he kept going. He had reached his dreams, his goals, what he wanted to do in life, and he just kept going and he didn't complain. That is such an awesome testimony. So I think that's a very great person that you selected.
Indeed.
All right, Mr. Courtney. If you could give parents one tip that you think would make them better, what would it be?
Hmm. Does it have to be one, or can I give two?
Oh, you can give two. And then I have another question. I see your question, Dr. Davenport. I'll get to it next.
Okay. Well, the first tip would be to not say that, boy, I've gone through the same thing, right? Because yes, I understand that we're human beings, so we all go through the same things, right? But we're in different times now. It's a different generation. And there's been times when I've told my parents certain things. They're like, boy, it's the same thing. Yes, it could be the same thing, but it can be enhanced or it can be downgraded. And what I mean by that is I could very well be dealing with the exact same thing, but because of my generation and because of me being different, because I'm not my parents, I'm my own human being, that is what causes it, what they're saying to not 100% be true. Because I'll give you an example, right? I remember I was telling my mom how, like, I was starting to get afraid to like talk to certain people in my age group. Like, I have no problem with walking up to adults. That's just me as a person. I find it easier for me to talk to old people and to, well, not necessarily old people, like old people, but like just people who are older than me, right? And then to people my age, right? Because people, my generation is a lot more judgmental. They say they're not judgmental, but they are extremely judgmental. So yeah, so I was saying, Mom, I can't talk to this girl. Like, I cannot talk to her, right? She's like, boy, you can't. Stop being afraid, we all deal with this. Like, yes, I understand, but if I go up to a girl now, a random girl, right, to say hello, just try to be friends, right? They'll be like, like, who you too friendly, like, he not good, right? Because of stereotypes and because of this. Because we're taught to think that a man is, especially through music, a man has to have the Jordans, has to have Nikes, has to look a certain way, has to be tall, or has to be light skinned, or has to be dark skinned. The society is creating so many standards for us that are not true. Like, and it's starting to get inside of our minds. So when we see something that goes against what society is telling us, we start to depart from it because we're like, that's not what is true. You see, they're starting to think like that. So that's why I was telling my mom, like, it's different. And then now the second tip would be to just listen to us, like what you're doing right now, what you've been doing. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12 says, let no man despise thy youth, right? We have to listen to each other. Now, me knowing I'm a child, I have to understand my place as a child, right? And there's a time to speak and there's a time not to speak. And that's something that I'm struggling with. I'll be honest. Sometimes I speak when I'm not supposed to speak. I could be right or I could be wrong, but I'm saying that even when I speak, I could be right or I could be wrong, but it's not my time to speak, right? Because I have to know my place as a child, right? But then on the times when God is allowing me to speak, I want my parents or people who are older, to listen, right? In Timothy, it says, do not despise thy youth. And all throughout the Bible, God used young people. When Jesus was young, he taught the scribes, the old people, people who were older than him, the Pharisees, all those people in the temples. He was teaching them and he was only 12. All right. So those are the only two tips. Not to say that the first one is stop saying that, oh, it's the same thing. Like yes, we know because we're all human, but we're in different times. So it affects that phrase. And then the second tip is just to listen to us. Do not despise us.
Yeah, it was funny that you say that. Last week when I had educator on Miss Madeline Allen from Mississippi, and that was one of the things that we talked about is that, as parents, we tend to, I said do this and da. So we just stay saying, but we need to stop and begin to listen more, because sometimes as our children talk, they are really crying out for help. There's something that they don't want to just come right out and say to us, but they need for us to hear. But so we need to be silent and really open up. Everybody need to put their gadgets down and we need to listen to you all so that we can understand what it really is that you need, what you're trying to say. So, I agree that we do need to listen. So that I like that point. Dr. Davenport King says, Courtney, what would you say to your peers today They struggle of wanting to just live life and become a social media celebrity versus going to college and building a world that can change the narrative we are seeing today in the youth.
What is my advice? I would say, understand that what you see celebrities do is not always the truth. What people show you online is only what they want you to see. It's not the real them, right? People are not going to show you their struggles or what is happening to them, the bad stuff. They're only going to show you the good moments in life, right? And even celebrities, they may seem like, oh, their life is so amazing and all that stuff, but it's not true. There's stories of many celebrities who kill themselves, right? So that lets you know right away that money, sex, huge house, many cars is not what fills the void in your heart, right? So that's my first tip. And then the second tip would be, find out your passions and all that type of stuff, and work hard in school, go to college. But I would say, because it is necessary to go to college, right? You won't be able to get certain jobs if you don't go to college. And people who have college degrees, they get more money. It's a fact, right? But I wouldn't say that, oh, if you don't go to college, you're not going to be successful, right? Because I think that's another common misconception that has been brought upon a lot of young children because of society and because of our parents. They're like always forcing us to go to college. Now, me, I want to go to college. I think now I want to go to college just to experience certain things, but well, not not like partying or drugs or all that type of stuff, but just to network with people, right? But then also, because in society, a lot of people have been taught that if you don't go to college, you're just a failure, right? All that type of stuff. You're not going to have money. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. Well, that's not necessarily true, right? There's many people who've gone far in life without going to college. But I'm not going to be stupid and say that college doesn't give you a push. College is extremely needed. It helps, but there's also downfalls to everything, student loans, all that type of stuff. That's why you got to work hard to get those scholarships. And it's hard. Me personally, I don't like schoolwork. Right? I don't like it, but it is what it is. You got to push through it. You got to work for it. So yeah, those will be my two things. Don't believe what celebrities tell you or what they post because they're only showing you what they want you to see. They're not showing the real them, right? And then what college and all that stuff, find your passions. College is necessary. I'm not saying that if you don't go to college, you're going to be a failure, but I am saying that college is helpful. It is necessary. So, yeah.
Great answer. And we know it's going to be that, I'll say a fraction of those who, well, college is not for 100% of everyone, but we still have like trade schools. Like if somebody wants to be a welder, but you still need to get that additional education so you can get that money, and not just to love money, but you have to have money to have where to live, get transportation, to eat. So you need to hone your skills and make your skills the best that they can be at whatever you choose. You can go in the military, but you still got to work.
Right.
Yeah. So that's great. And hope this doesn't sound redundant, but my last question for you, Courtney, and this has been a blast. You have really been a blessing, and I hope everyone out there listening will please share this video with someone, because I know it's someone that's not on here listening that will benefit from this information that Courtney has shared today, because it has been wonderful. So please share this video. But in closing, I'm going to ask this question, but anything else that you want to add, please feel free. But what advice would you offer to a young man to assist them in building their best life? You are someone that is on the correct path, so you are in the right position to advise someone. These are some of the things that you need to do to assist you in building your best life.
Okay. So we're talking about just people my age and down, like people in elementary and middle school, high school.
High school and young adults.
Oh, okay. High school and young adults. Find your identity. Know your identity, right? That'll be the first step. I know who I am, but I'm still building my identity, right? I'm still building, I'm still growing. So I'm not going to know everything about myself 100%, but I do know who I am in Christ, right? So build a foundation in your identity. Then secondly, know your value, right? Your worth, right? You're not defined by your clothes. You're not defined by what happened to you or what you've done or your struggles. You know, that's you're not defined by that. And then thirdly, would just to keep faith, right? Keep your faith. Never stop believing. Never stop believing. And for Christians who are watching this, never stop believing. And for atheists, hey, or if you're struggling with doubt, such as myself, you know, we all just have to keep the faith. Keep the faith. So know our identity, right? Know our value. Keep the faith. And then what's the last one? What would be the last one? Keep love, right? That's the biggest thing, because Jesus even said our two main commandments is to love God and to love people. Treat people the way we want to be treated, right? You know, you will reap what you sow. So in my experiences, I found out that loving people, even though they disagree with what I believe in or all that type of stuff, you know, if I show God's love to them, that is what gives me favor with people and with God. And that's what opens more opportunities for me, my ability to love people, you know. So yeah, just keeping that love. So love, identity, knowing your value. Yeah, identity, your value, love, and keeping the faith. 4 main points.
Very good. I hope everybody was taking note of that, because again, Courtney has been a blessing to us this evening. And this is what I have been dying to have young men to come in and give their perspective of how our young men can be better. And if, you know, we listen to his advice, we listen to basic principles, if educators, pastors, coaches, parents, grandparents will give them that assistance that they need, pay attention and listen, we can turn this thing around. We want our young men, we want their dropout rates to be lower. We want them to stop dropping out. That freshman year of college, 30% of our freshmen are leaving college. Their first year, they are leaving college. We need to, you know, step up and help them with that. Our young men are committing suicide. We have so many of our young men that are depressed. They suffer from lower self-esteem. And like Courtney say, just because something happened to you in your past, someone did something to you in your past, or you did something, that's in the past. You can overcome those things.
Yeah. And it's interesting how you touched on suicide and depression and anxiety, because if you do your research, men, just the male gender in general, have the highest suicide rates.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It is. I was amazed to find that out. So yes. So we need to step it up, people, step it up. We got to help them, whatever we can do. So thank you, Courtney, so much. And again, please, please, please share this video so others can hear what's going on, and they can view it on YouTube and Periscope as well as Facebook. So thank you for that. And as well, in my quest, as I was doing research or whatever, and I was finding out these statistics like on the suicide and the dropout rate and all of this stuff. And I was like, how can I get this to more people? Because everybody's not going to look at my post on Facebook. Everybody's not going to tune in to Facebook Live. So if I write it down, so I wrote it down and I put it in a book, Build Your Best Life. So please also tell people about this book. If you go on my website, you can purchase an autographed copy of the book. And it's www.buildyourbestlife.org. It's up on the screen. But it is basic principles to help our young men overcome things that society are saying, things from their past, things that are bothering them today, like cyberbullying, people approaching them about gangs, their dad walked out, whatever it is. I am trying to assist and help them to find out they can overcome those things and be the best that they can be. So please, please, please share this information. I thank you so much again, Courtney. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to having you back on the 30th, you and the OCs, the original Christians. They will be back on the 30th at 6:30. So please tune in, everybody that's out there. You will be in for a treat. These are some wonderful young men. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in today. And as always, please remember, as you travel on the road to building a better life, there will be distractions, pit stops, rough terrain, and detours. Although those things may slow you down, don't let them stop you. Keep going so that you can be the best you, so that you can build your best life. Thank you. Bless you. Have a great evening. And I will see you on Thursday at 6:30 for another live session here on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube. Just be blessed and build your best life.